Asking you this morning how you would grade Joe Biden's first days as president. Having this conversation on the day that he will reach 100 hours in office this Sunday morning, letting you reflect on the past couple days since inauguration. This is Greg in Farmington, Michigan, a Democrat. Greg, how would you grade these first few days?
He's going to town. He's not a spring chicken, but he's really getting a lot done, and he's working very hard. What I would emphasize, yes, unity would be good, but we also have to have accountability. You cannot table the January 6th item as something we just overlook and have no accountability. And as far as former President Trump, yes, I'm all for impeachment. Look at, the indictment by the Senate. Look at it every day. He's in the headlines yet of trying to overthrow a legitimate, legal, proper election. This has to be looked into in great depth. I don't like him getting a pension and all of his family members getting selective service protection. Look at the money involved in all this. And
Greg, plenty of time to talk about impeachment, especially in the days and weeks to come as that schedule gets settled. Asking this morning how you feel about the first days of the Biden administration. Dahlia in Miami, Florida, Republican. What do you think?
I would give him an F. The first thing he did was put thousands of people out of work. He is going back to the Paris Accord, which would only hurt our economy. He's going back to the same things that Obama did, which were a disaster. Energy is going up. Our gas prices are already going up. The only reason they're after Trump is because they know that Trump put the United States first, the American people first. This guy, of course, Europe loves him because now they're not going to pay any more in NATO. We are. And he's probably going to go on his apology tour just like Obama did. They don't care about the American people. They don't. And I would like to know the African Americans who call, what did Obama do for them? How about nothing?
That's Dahlia in Miami, Florida. But this morning on the Washington Journal, just asking you about the first couple days of the Biden administration, giving you a chance to reflect on last week. Brenda, how would you grade the first couple days of the Biden administration?
I would say frightening. I'm extremely concerned about his cognitive ability. He's walking by a Marine as he and the First Lady are walking into the White House, and he says, salute the Marine. Somebody was in his earpiece telling him to salute the Marine, and he didn't even do it. He just is used to repeating what's ever in his earpiece. And that was a little scary. And again, I'm also very concerned about the unity business when he's trying to impeach the president who actually did something. And that you just showed Nancy Pelosi talking. I worry about her. First of all, her speech, if she's third in line, her speech isn't that well either. She has trouble with her teeth, or she's too old to be there, probably.
Brenda, what do you think of, we're at more than about 24, I believe, executive actions so far. What do you make of the executive actions by the new president?
Well, I think losing somewhere between 12 and 30,000 jobs, canceling the pipeline, is irresponsible. Now all of that oil has to travel on trains to take care of his rich friends. These are all paybacks to Democratic voters. There's nothing wrong with that pipeline. That pipeline gives jobs, and that pipeline saves train wrecks and truck wrecks from oil being spilled and cities and towns being polluted. So there is no rationale for stopping the pipeline other than to placate his donors.
That's Brenda in Arkansas. This taking One tweet from yesterday afternoon from President Biden, this focusing on the challenges ahead. We're facing a historic moment in our nation's history, and that requires bold and swift action. That's why this week I took historic action to deliver relief to American families and addressing the challenges we face. President Biden's official Twitter account, that from yesterday afternoon, about 3 p.m. Eastern time in the weeks to come. David, Flint, Michigan, Democrat, how would you judge the opening days of the Biden administration?
Oh, well, good morning. And I give him a A++. I think the president is excellent. We got in the room where he can talk to, where the lady can give us daily reports on everything that's being done in the government, getting back to normality. I love his cabinet. It's diverse. It shows a real America. It's not, America, we got good people in every race in America, but we weren't being represented at all in the Trump administration. Now everybody in our country is being represented. And the people that broke into the White House, I have never been so embarrassed. I'm 68 years old in April, and I have never been so embarrassed for our country to see those people dogging out the Capitol of democracy for the world, tearing up the walls, sitting in the seats, taking over the country as it made the whole world look at us as a third-rate nation, and those people should be charged. And the president is doing right. He's not involved. He's trying to unite us. And I think the Republicans, and that pipeline has always been divisive. The Republicans have always wanted that, and we have always not wanted it. The people in that area, their lives are threatened if that pipeline busts, and then we'll be on, all America be on hand to have to pay for that. So he's got a right to make his decisions the way we Democrats feel like it should be made, because the Republicans paid us no mind. They just ran over us like a big Mack truck for 4 years.
That's David in Flint, Michigan. A few more from Facebook and Twitter and our text messaging service. This Julia saying it's an A+ leadership in COVID, reversing harmful, racist, and inhumane executive orders of Trump. The financial aid package we should have had in April. Finally, a decisive shutdown of the Keystone Pipeline. Transparency, honesty, and press briefings are back. This from Pamela saying, nobody gets a grade on day 2. I think it's ludicrous, but at least there's not a lunatic in the White House. This from Michelle, terrible would be her grade. Nothing he has done is good for the American people. In less than a week, look at how many people he put out of work. And South Fork Ranch saying, Beijing Joe is an actor in a kabuki theater play. The sunshine. This is Andrew, Houston, Texas, Democrat. Good morning.
Hi, thank you for taking my call this morning. Would just like to say about President Biden's first few days, first 100 hours in office, I think a fair grade so far to give him would probably be a B. I don't want to go too far in favor, yet also don't want to go too far against. A lot has been brought up about the Keystone Pipeline. If you listen to an exchange that happened in the Senate between Senator Ted Cruz and Pete Buttigieg, Mr. Buttigieg talked about how, we need to support union labor, but we need to do it with long-term sustainable jobs that are not based on fossil fuel. So I do feel for people who lose their job, but I think that we have to have a little bit more of a long-term vision in this country. Why would we bring oil from Canada when we have sunlight and wind in our own country? The last thing that I want to say, you had a tweet earlier, and I don't even know, I know you didn't put it up yourself, but I don't even know why Cspan would put this up, saying Beijing Joe something or other, and it's kabuki theater. Well, I hate to break it to these people, but Beijing is in China, and kabuki theater comes from Japan. If you're going to talk smack about the president, get your fighting words right. I mean, let's educate ourselves, folks. One last thing, vet your news sources. Make sure you're getting quality news. Thank y'all. Have a wonderful morning.
It's Andrew in Texas. This is